What's tea, you guys, and welcome back to Reyna Teas. Yes, so today we have a very special video, homage, and review of the very gracious, powerful, amazing Goetic spirit, Vepar. So if you have been with this channel, you've been with us, you guys already know. I've done a video on working with this spirit before. Powerful spirit. Okay? What words could I even use? It's like, it's so hard for me as a magician who interacts with the spirit world through a lot of feeling, through a lot of empathetic innate ability to like put into words and describe their energy type. But if I could describe her energy type, it would be confident, supreme, it would be triumphant, it would be unapologetic, it would be deep, it would be very Scorpio, just very Scorpio woman tease. And before I get into this video, because I have a few things to share with you guys about working with this spirit, I also did some mediumship writing, which is also known as automatic writing, where you channel the spirit and what the spirit says to you, you basically transcribe. And before I get into that, I want to humbly apologize to the spirit Vepar because honey, Miss Vepar, she was ready to come through and let you girls have it. She really was. Like, she's not about the pulling the punches. And as far as myself is concerned, she made mention of this, and it is also included in the automatic writing that I transcribe, where she kind of voiced my morality concerns, because she was really going in, and I know that us as workers and what our recent feat of accomplishment had been cost. Okay, and if you don't know what we're talking about, girl, go check out that bitch Florida motherfucking Hurricane Stop by the Duo. Okay, go check that video out. And I have to be honest with you guys, in the wake of that, I am human. Me and my sister are human. We're mortal. And we can feel, knowing that we both stood at the coast, bitch, with our motherfucking tools, with our motherfucking trance, with our intent, and working these squares and calling these spirits, that we overtly altered the course of fate. And it cost a lot of people their livelihood and their lives, And when you're in this magic game and you're working with these entities, these powerful, primordial, otherworldly, other dimensional entities, you have to carry that. We've slain bitches before. We told you guys this, and we have seen destruction left in our wake in the casualties of war. So in my apology, I want to publicly apologize to the Goetic spirit Vepar for not being forthcoming and truly authenticating what she was telling me to say to you guys about her office and about herself, because I should have done that. I should have done her that justice. But I was over here like already in my own feelings about what had happened and how the island itself was left in destruction, because that hurricane hovered over that island for a total of 3 days. 3 days, and bitch, yes, you best believe we was over there holding that bitch back. We already told you girls in the other video. But like we said, at the end of the day, we're human too. So to see that on the news, to read about it in the paper, to hear the cries of the displaced, it's not always easy. And that's the reality of magic. And that's the reality of wielding this power and calling upon these entities. We don't get on the line and do reviews and homage videos and talk about these things to hype people up to just go dabble. Because dabbling is very dangerous. Yes, it is. You know what I'm saying? But we make agreements with these spirits. You know, a part of my pact and agreement with this spirit was, come through and I will bring reverence to your name. Okay? So that's what I'm about to do right now. So a humble apology to the spirit Vepar. I should have honored them better. I will give you what was transcribed in the automatic writing in a second. But I just want to talk a little bit about this spirit and their office. So Vepar is one of the 42nd spirit of the Goetia. Okay, their office is to govern seas, to guide ships, and that's very important. Take note of that. To guide ships to and fro safely, or to give them trouble, to cause storms and calm storms. And they also are known as a spirit of vindication and like fucking a bitch up, basically. Basically, because it is also known in their office that they can cause internal infestations of the body, of the organs, of the bloodstream, of the life force. You know, she also mentions that in the automatic writing. She goes in about that. So she can poison a bitch, okay? And she has no problem with death. Okay, so this is a very deathly destruction oriented spirit. This is not a spirit that this is a spirit you can call on and work with. Also, if you are in need of peering into your own emotional abyss and darkness, she also says that in the automatic writing. Let me get into the automatic writing first for you guys, and then I'll recount my own experience and things that I noticed about her office as well. So she says, "Hello and greetings to the mortal world. I am mistress of the sea. I am she who hears the last gaping breath of a man before he is plunged into the abyss of the drowning waters. This child is hesitant to show and share such cruel words that I revel upon from the casualties of war. But I am not bound by man's morality, and I shall speak truth. The seas swallow whole the innocent and the guilty. Know that even though war is my counsel, I also do aid in matters of a conflicting heart. Like the black and moonless sea, this is the depths of man's soul. Hidden away is his own past hurts and his long-forgotten trauma. Run as he might, untended wounds shall fester, corrupting his stream of life. See as how sickness and disease stem not from the mind nor the body, but from the soul." And let me see, I wrote something here. I was kind of like really in trance, so some of my handwriting is kind of a bit off. And I'm going to skip that part. So she says, the horrors and nightmarish visage, I want you to know, are little of our own doing. We are the contracted, the prayed to, the revered. But fear those who have the power to call upon what you cannot see. For there are many, and their desires are deep. For now I let the child rest. Oh, and also know that the vessels that come to lend aid was also my doing. Okay, so that is what I was able to really pick up from her. And Vepar, I graciously thank you for your counsel, and I graciously thank you for just being a friend. Like, because even in my first video, in reverence to her, that was my first time actually working with the spirit, and I had done so for a client, okay? And baby, not it. Yeah, just go check out that video if you want to. And what I noticed was just how apparent she was, and I said this, I think, in my other video, the Dukes, a lot of times the Dukes really come through. Like, I have closer relationships with the Dukes in the Goetia than a lot of times the presidents and the kings. I haven't really worked with the president, spirit of that office or stature, but I have a lot of times worked with the Dukes, and they are just a lot more times relatable. They tend to come quickly. With the kings, the kings definitely have that air about them. They definitely carry themselves with a like bitch, you're beneath me kind of thing, and that's not bad. It's just, you have to know your place in the universe, and they know theirs. So with the Dukes, it's a lot more relatable. It's like going to, like an older sibling or someone older, like an older mentor, and kind of telling them your problems, and they're like, I got this, like, hold back, I got you, and I've always felt that sort of reassurance when working with this spirit and a few others that I've mentioned on this channel. You can definitely go check those videos out. And just to let you girls know, because I ain't even hit y'all with that pitch today, girl, what's going on? Had to give all the glory to Vepar, definitely. But just to let you guys know, if you guys are interested in spiritual work and or readings, we will leave our contact information down in the description box below. You can go check out our Big Cartel website and look at some of the features that we do offer. So I wanted to touch on this last sentence that she wanted me to share with you guys about the Bahamas, because she knew in my heart, like, she knew that I was like really hesitant, because she was going in. I'm not gonna lie, you guys, she was like really going in, and really like she's not a though she's a very mature and demure, and kind of not demure, but though she's a very approachable spirit from the standpoint of a magician, I look at her wake, what she's left behind in her wake, and that's a bitch you really don't want to fuck with. You really don't want to be on the opposite end of that type of spirit. So, but she is the spirit of the sea. She's a spirit that I worked with before, and she was a spirit that I knew I could call upon with such drastic and devastating nature's energy coming towards us with this giant fucking storm. And I knew I needed a big gun. I knew I needed to call upon someone that I had a relationship with, that I knew and had worked with before, to redirect and halt this storm from touching our shit. Okay, so that's what was done. And in the wake of that, she got her piece too, because like she's a goddess of war. She has seen, and even if you look at her sigil, which possibly will be posted on the screen, throughout the duration of this video, it looks like a warship. It looks like a ship, like a vessel, like those man of war ships out at sea. And she's seen it all. She's seen the battleships upon the oceans, and she's drank of the planks, and like she said, the drowning men, that's nothing to her. That's nothing to the ocean. You know what I'm saying? So it's nothing, bitch, that the Bahamas was motherfucking laid out, honey. It's nothing that South Carolina and up the coast, bitch, the eastern coast of the United States, those girls were laid out. That's nothing. Okay? But she also wanted me, and I guess you guys, to know too, that she also was a part of seeing to that island getting aid, because honey, the Bahamas got way more help than fucking Puerto Rico and fucking Haiti. put together, literally. You know, there are a lot more drives and donations and people donating money. And I did say this. I'm gonna say something else too. I said this after we halted the storm and kind of redirected. I said this to my sister. I was like, you know, all these motherfucking white people that stay booking flights and travel destinations to the Bahamas, all these people that got property, real estate property, hotels and other sort of liveliness in the fucking Bahamas, they need to help out, because those people in the Bahamas, they work to please a lot of time Westerners. A lot of their commerce comes from being a travel destination. So I was like, yeah, these white motherfuckers over here stay going back and forth over there to the Bahamas and cruising and this and this and that. They need to be donating. They need to be helping. And it was nice to see a very different attitude towards the restoration. I mean, the girls are it's gonna take them a very long time to recover. You know, let that be noted. But it was nice to see that they weren't like shunned like Puerto Rico was in a way, and it was a lot more people stepping up, at least in what I've noticed, you know, in what's been going on social media and what's been happening with the news. You know, the girls are saying, the girls are going over there, the girls are donating fresh water, the girls are donating clothes. A lot of them have access to the United States to come. Not everybody, but most of them. They do. So she wanted that last sentence to be noted, that she was also a part of making sure that they got aid, you know, that they were well taken care of. So I did appreciate that. Let's see, is there anything else that I wanted to address about the automatic writing? Well, I guess we can go in about some of the things that she was saying. You know, like, she was going in and just telling me like how she just snatched wigs. Like, she will snatch wigs, honey. She will snatch fucking wigs, honey. She don't give a damn. Bitch, anybody can get it. You know, she was just kind of going in like that. Like, you know, any bitch can get it. Not like that. You know, that's like my language. But she was just more like, anybody can get it. Like, who, you know, call me and bitch, I will bring the thunder. I will bring the rain. I will bring the hail. I will bring the sleet. And I will bring death. Okay? So that's like where she was going with it. And I was like, you know, Vepar, like, you really want me to give this? You know, I wanted this piece to be kind of, in my human mind, you know, I wanted this piece to be more uplifting. You know, if I'm giving homage tease, I wanted to kind of have the light be shown, to have her seen in a good light, so people would be more. But I hear her saying now, she's like, bitch, she didn't say bitch, but she's like, not everyone is supposed to be working with me. Not everyone is supposed to be calling upon me. Not everyone is supposed to. Yes, I want to instill fear in some of their hearts so they know to stay away. So yeah, that's how that energy is. That's just how she is. And I'm very gracious that, you know, she accepted in working with me and championing for me. And I think a lot of times when it comes to working with entities and spirits, I approach them very graciously, very humbly, but I don't cower. I'm not looking for, you know, some like, oh, like, prove this to me and this and this and that, or you bow to me, I am the human vessel incarnate of God. And no, I don't do that. I treat them like I would treat a person that I have a potential or interest in doing business with, and I offer them something that I would hope would be of value as a mutual exchange. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, I think they appreciate being treated like regular, I don't want to say regular people because that's not true, but they just appreciate the humility, they appreciate the reverence, they appreciate the honor. I make sure if I am calling upon them, I make sure I do have a light offering. I make sure I do, preparatory immersion. We say this all the time. Take the time to preparatory immerse and meditate on their sigil and read up about them and really get a feel, because there's a lot of entities that I read up upon and I felt like I needed to call upon them, and I just was like, the energy didn't match and I didn't force it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't go forward with trying to bend them to my will or just calling them for the sake of, so that also, they choose you too. For my magicians out there, for my summoners out there, for my practitioners out there, a lot of times the choosing has to be mutual. Okay, so I think, is there anything else I wanted to touch on in this video? Oh, I wanted to touch on a little bit. I could hear her. She's like, yeah, you want to tell them what else my office was about. She also is great in counseling matters of the heart, like dealing and exposing with that deep, dark trauma, like trauma that you're not really ready yourself to face and you may be afraid to face on your own. I had such an experience visualizing and meditating and just feeling her energy. She's like one of the most noticeable entities that I've worked with, like signs coming through, like shit coming through, clouds, thunder in the clouds, the storms rolling, the sea, bitch, baying, everything, like shit just popping off and making sense, and I also had a dream with her. I recounted that in my first video, but I had a very clear dream with her where she brought me into the sea and into the ocean with her. So there's just like an undeniable presence that's felt when calling upon this spirit, and when working with her and calling her, I just am very humbled by feeling her presence come to me and knowing that she's there with me and listening to me and telepathically communicating with me, because we be going back and forth. I be going in with these spirits, honey. I don't have those bars. I don't have those doors that like I can't hear spirit in my head. I just can really hear them. So in a lot of my visualization practices with her, as far as warming up, she was showing me so much. She was just showing me so much. It was just so vivid. I was like, oh my God, taking me into the depths. I remember diving deeper and deeper and deeper into the abyss of my own soul, and I was picking up on subtle energies and subtle pains and subtle things that were going on, certain memories that I had buried deep in my own soul that I hadn't realized were possibly traumas, possibly episodes. And she was telling me, how she could help me work through that. She's also very emotionally gentle, I will say, but stern. Okay, because she was getting on my ass too, because like I was been supposed to make this video, and she was like, okay, like there is honor in this, be sure to honor what you promise, be like, just like, and I'm like, okay, I will, don't, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, don't worry, I'm gonna get to it. So it was a very stern but emotional mother like energy, I want to say. Not pulling any punches with you, but also still understanding it, also still concerned about letting me know that there was potential for her to work with me within myself for my own emotional well-being, and not just for me to call on her to slay a bitch, or call on her to stop a storm, or call on her to do this. A lot of times these spirits too, they want to teach us something. They want to help us evolve to the next plane, to reaching the next stage within ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And I've often asked, because I know some of you may be thinking, well, what do these spirits get out of this? Are they like gonna have your soul for the rest of eternity in the afterlife? But I think if you think of it like this, if you've lived countless eons, and in a way you possibly are immortal in some form or fashion, or you've just seen the eons of time and you've possibly governed and watched over man throughout those eons of time, there's nothing really new under the sun. And you do have a lot of entities that they cannot stand humankind. They don't like us. They do not like us. They're possibly the more dangerous to call upon. There is literature written about them, pulling the gull over man's eyes and things like that. But a lot of them, they aren't like that. They're too busy in their own office. I can only imagine what goes on in those dimensions over there, where you have a multitude of fucking intangible but incorporeal forms of entities and spirits and this and that and all this shit happening. And then politics. I mean, I'm sure they have their own politics. They're dukes and presidents and kings and shit. So I'm sure there's a hierarchy going on over there. And they have a million other things that they could possibly be doing. But for some of them, intervening in mortal affairs, it's like having power and someone calling you to use your power, and then you using your power, and it's like, okay, like I did that. We do that, as spiritual workers ourselves. People call upon us for help. What do we get out of it? Are we trying to fucking take advantage and abuse and do all this shit to people? No. At the end of the day, we are seeking to help people. We're going to be paid and compensated for our time. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Because that's our time, and it deserves the value and the respect. So that's first. We're going to let you girls know that right off the bat. But in the relationships we've had with our clients, we do see them evolve. They know that if they're aiming for progression, that we give them the moral support. We give them, we keep it real with them. If you being foolish over here doing shit that you're not supposed to be doing, and it's counterproductive to your progression or the magic, we're gonna let you know. It's the same thing with these entities. It's the exact same thing. So I think that's the best way that I could describe it. I hope I've given this spirit justice. I hear her saying, you have. You have. I, again, thank you guys for listening to this video. Hope that you continue to delve into your own exploration of what magic is. And I guess not being afraid to tap into certain elements of yourself, because I think before these spirits are able to work with you and respect you on the spiritual plane, you have to detach from a lot of things on the mortal plane. You have to, because they ain't got time for all that. They just don't. They ain't got time for all that. They ain't got time for trying to prove shit to nobody. They don't have time. Well, a little bit, because, they like to get their shout outs. Like, I noticed that too. They like to get their likes, okay? They like to get their likes and their hearts and their little, their little live time. They love that. They do. So, and it is about keeping their memory alive. It's about keeping their reverence, it's about them showcasing their office, what their abilities are and what they're capable of doing. But at the end of the day, I also feel like, they evolve too. They evolve too by watching us evolve, and by transcending through us. They themselves transcend as well, because it's a ladder up. It's a ladder up, and it's like we're all in this trying to give each other a hand up. Not everybody, okay, but a vast majority of the relationships that are spiritual and mortal in nature are about kind of giving that person the hand up. Okay, so that's all I'm really going to say on this. I don't want to drag this video out too long. Thank you guys for listening, and we will see you in the next one.